Okie dokie, so it is finished colour 1. So now I'm going to put on my next colour. So I'm going to cut my thread and I'm going to pull my thread from here. And I actually wind this thread up. And I'll tell you why I wind the thread up, is because if you don't wind your threads up and put them nice and tidy, by the way, they have a little piece where you can wind them round. If you leave it on there unwound, it can get caught around your balance wheel and wind and wind and wind and wind, and you do not realize it happens, and then you need to take it into the mechanic to get it fixed. So I'm going to put this colour on to show you, because it'll be really bright so you can see it, and it's going to do all these outlines that you can see. So I'm using my thread stand. I go behind here, straight down, around, up and down, and here, and hook it under the bar. And now I just put my start stop button on, and it's going to do a couple of stitches, and then I'm going to stop it and I'm going to cut my thread and I'm going to start it. So now it's doing the outlines. You can see really clearly on this machine how it's doing the outlines. Very, very clever. You're going to love it. You're just going to love it. It's so much fun. I'll actually get something I've just done for one of my grandchildren. So I have put my grandson's name on the fabric, and I've made a little toothpaste, toothbrush and flannel holder. So that's going to be for his birthday present. So I put his name on it so that he will know it's his and his brother and sister won't steal it. So it's quite fun to be able to personalise things. So I do use my embroidery module a lot. And I'll tell you the best thing I've done. Every grandchild and extra that is in our family, they all get a towel with their name on it. Now when you're doing toweling, the toweling is too thick to go in the hoop. So what you do, you get this product here, and this is called Stick It On. And what you actually do, instead of putting your towel in the hoop, you put Stick It All in the hoop. So what happens is it has a paper side on one side and then a sticky on the other. So I'm going to put the paper side facing up. And I'll just come up and use this. And I'm going to hoop this up as if I was normally hooping a fabric. Undo the screw again. Push my hoop down to 1/8 of an inch, lower than my other hoop. Tighten my screw up. Now watch what happens this time. I am going to get a pin and I'm going to score across here so I can peel it off. I'm going to come this side. I've made a score mark with my pin, and now I'm just going to lift off the paper. Can you see that? So I'm just lifting off the paper. And what I do is I peel it. So all of this is sticky. Alright, so that is sticky. So if I get a towel, I'll steal the one out of here. If I get a little towel I can place it, I can place it on my frame, and this is called floating. So what I can do then is I can place another product called Solvi, which is a soluble plastic on top. I can do all my embroideries, and I'm not going to damage my hoop by putting a thick towel in there. So this is how I do it when I'm doing towels. So this product again is called Stick It All, and it's sticky, and it can stick my towel to it. And then when I embroider, it's going to hold it really, really, really well. So there's loads and loads of different products about. I use Tearaway for my craft items. I use Stick It All for my toweling, my sweatshirting, any thick fabric. And the other one I use is called Polymesh. And if I'm going to embroider a garment, I put polymesh behind it or cutaway, because you always need to leave some stability behind your garment. Now I'm going to stop there, come back here, and I'm going to show you how amazing that looks. It's done the outline all the way around my design, and you can see from the picture that when I start sewing again, it's going to do all the middle of the design. Can you see that? So if I put that back in and put that back on and push my button, I don't need to change my colour thread if I don't want to. That is a personal choice. You can have whatever colours you like. Remember, start and stop. If I want to leave the same colour on, I just leave the same colour on. I'm using bright colours so you can see how you do it. So in a nutshell, that is how you use the embroidery module. I'm going to stop it, and I'm just going to show you here again. This one here was the one we pushed when our thread broke. Okay, so this will just give you a little bit of an insight of how to put your module on, of how to choose a design, how to add a design, how to go back if your thread breaks, and what to do when your thread jams, which is, I think, probably the most important thing, because don't be scared of your machine. Pull everything out, be slow, go and have a cup of tea if you need to, and then slowly put it all back on. But I hope that's got you started on your embroidery machine, and I'll do further videos on showing you all the other parts that you can use to add to your embroidery. Hi there. Just quickly, I need to show you how this machine embroiders the names, because when people digitize their designs, sometimes they're a very open design and it looks like the machine hasn't filled in the stitch, but it's the digitizing of the design, and it's supposed to look like that. So this design that I was doing is a very open design. So now I want to show you, normally it's quite a solid design. So now I'm going to show you how it embroiders the name so you can see the difference in the embroideries. All right, so now I'm just going to push start and stop so it can cut my thread, and start again. And you'll see it does all the understitching of my name, and then it satin stitches a beautiful solid satin stitch. But as I was embroidering it, my husband said, you need to explain that that design has been digitized to be an open design, and it normally embroiders really solidly. So that was a very good point. So I appreciate that, because I know it's an open design, but you might think that it doesn't embroider well, but it does. So now you can see how beautiful it's embroidering, and I'll make it go faster. And it's going to take 3 minutes to do my name. Such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stitch. it's going to jump over to do my letter O, and that has actually cut that thread, so I can pull it off afterwards and just cut one side. So you see it under stitches first and then it satin stitches afterwards. So it gives it a bit of body. Quite fascinating, isn't it? It's actually hard to walk away from the machine when it's embroidering because it's so much fun to watch it. So yeah, it's good fun. And you can actually have another machine and you can be sewing on another machine while your machine's embroidering as well. And it will stop after each colour, and you can be out gardening if you like and come back in and change the colour thread. Just wash your hands first. So I've done that on the fastest that machine can sew that name, and it's on full speed. You can't make it go any faster than that, you can only make it go slower. So it's now got 2 minutes, 1 minute left of my name. And then I'll show you the difference in the way it's been digitised. Very, very clever. So it was a very good point, because I know how they work, but you don't all know how they work yet, so. And be very cautious, that's the other thing. When you're buying a embroidery design, we use OESD, which is Embroidery Online, and they do all our designs for Bernina. There are some embroideries out there which aren't as good a quality, and you won't get as good a quality embroidery finish. So just be very aware. Always buy an A grade if you can, but there are so many free designs from Bernina, you really won't need to buy anything for a very, very long time. So it's got my 1 litre left to go. It's just about finished the Y, and it's on to the N, and then I'll show you how it looks. You can see it's cut the thread. You can see clearly it's cut the thread there. So it cuts one side of the thread every time it jumps over to the next colour or letter. And it's showing you that it has finished that whole design, even though I didn't use the whole design. So you can just tick the flag, and you can go back to the folder, and you can go back up to the top of the folder, and you can select either the alphabet or the folders. Now within the folders, my little pointer, within the folders, as I said, there's other designs. So if I go to this folder, look at all of these cute little designs, and there's 3 pages. That's 1 page, that's 2 pages, that's 3 pages. So I could choose the pussycat, and there's the pussycat. If I want to go back up to find the other folders, I go here and I go here. I go up to here, up to the butterfly, and there's my other folders. There's another page. Let's go to the sewing one, and it's got a beautiful bookmark that I could make. So there you go, so it's not hard. Right, let's show you the design. So can you see I have done the beautiful solid stitching here. It has cut one side. Oh, one didn't cut that one. So I can trim that. Normally it cuts one side like it's done on all of these. That one must have got caught. And you can just trim them off. So here, see it's cut one side, and that little one doesn't cut. So that's interesting. Longer, it has cut it, the little one didn't cut. But you can just trim them off with a nice scissor. Let me show you here. One side, yep it did, and yes it did. So one side should always cut, and then you just trim off the others. So you can see this particular design was a very open design, it is supposed to look like that. That's how they digitized it. Whereas your normal embroidery is very, very solid. Okay? And I can just cut that little, I have to put it down to cut it because I can't hold it. Cut that little thread. I normally use my curved scissors. Okay? So they do just stitch beautifully. You will not have your threads coming undone when you've cut the thread because it is all locked off after each letter and each design movement has locked it off. So I hope that gives you a bit of an insight into your embroideries. Oh, when you're finished, I just loosen off the screw like that and I pop my embroidery out. All right, if I'm using tear away, I tear my tear away from behind my design. I use 2 layers always. I like 2 layers. And I just tear it away. If I had used cutaway, if this was cutaway, I would cut it back and I would leave about 1 centimetre all around my design. So cutaway, I would leave it. Tear away, I tear it completely back. If it's a quilt, I use tear away. If it's a craft item, I use tear away like I've used here. But if it's a garment, I use cutaway and I cut it back and you can just trim these tails off. Okay? So that the back of your work, if it's cutaway, will have a bit of the product on the back so that through washing it will not stretch out of shape. Because once you've stitched, it's already done the stitching through your fabric and become part of your garment. So cutaway on garments or poly mesh, tear away on craft items that are going to have a backing on them or a bit of wadding on them on a quilt. You'll soon learn. There's lots of information on the internet. Now all I do to change this back to a sewing machine is I push my button here, which is my home button, and I go to sewing and the arm moves completely away. I can now put my feed dogs back up because it's telling me. I could put my ordinary foot back on, which would be, I'll just put my 1C foot back on. I can put my sew plate back on by telling the machine I've got my normal sew plate back on. I would take my yellow bobbin out and put my black bobbin back in, black bobbin case. And if you push the button, you'll drop your bobbin out. And I'll put this all back to normal sewing. I've actually got the 20C foot on. I can tell the machine I've got a 20C foot because otherwise it'll growl at me. I've done that. I'm going to go to here and I'm going to go 0.9. I'm going to go 2.0 and I've got the 20C and I've told it I've got the 20C foot on. Now I'm back to normal sewing. I can do all my normal stitching. This can stay on your machine. You can put your sew plate on as well and you can leave it on there permanently, or if you want to take it off, you just simply lift it and pull it off. To put it on, you lift it and you put it down. Look at all my thread from cleaning. So this can stay on, your sew table can stay on, your sew table can stay on while you're embroidering, the knee control can stay on. It's a machine that is very capable of machine sewing, embroidering and beautiful, beautiful quilting. So enjoy your machine, enjoy your new module and happy embroidering.